Well, hi. Today is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Did you make it out to the rodeo over the weekend? I did. Had a great time. Also was able to spend a little time outside on an unseasonably warm Saturday. And now things getting a little bit back to normal, but we're still expecting 70s later this week again. Yeah, it's a little early for that, but I'll take it. I'm never going to look a gift horse in the mouth. And warm weather in March in our part of the world, that is a gift horse. So thank you so much for that. Coming up today, we are going to talk about a brand new business that's in town, and we're going to learn about what goes into creating something new, and especially when you're just starting out. And this is Jamie Larson Brinkman that's going to be joining us today, and she has a company that's called Blind Ambitions. And can you imagine what that is? Yep. It's blinds, and she can come in and completely revamp your home or business and really add a touch of style to it. And we're going to learn more from her about her why. Why did she get into this? And also about her small town background. So Jamie Larson Brinkman is our guest today on Morning Coffee. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered with fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship. They handle everything from small repairs to major installation. They're locally owned and trusted, and they take pride in doing the job right the first time. So when plumbing problems strike, give them a call. WaldsteinPlumbing.com is their website. Good morning. Start with peace of mind at Miners Healthcare. They provide professional in-home support where it matters most, helping individuals maintain comfort, dignity, and independence in their daily lives. Their experienced nursing team focuses on personalized care, clear communication, and supporting families through every step of the process. It's healthcare built on trust, compassion, and real relationships. Learn more at minershealthcare.com. Welcoming into the studios on Willow, I'd say for the first time, but she's been here several times, just never sitting with a microphone next to her. This is Jamie Larson Brinkman, and it is good to see you in this capacity because usually you're here saying, all right, here's what we have to do to put some blinds up on your windows.
Yes, absolutely. Or working on website content, right?
Or working on websites as well.
Yes.
You have just recently started a new business, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I am a big fan of people stepping out on their own and saying that this is the path that I want to go.
Yes.
And especially when you're not in your 20s, because I think you're about 31. But
perfect.
But as you know, I'm an older guy. And, we started this little project here last year, and I know that it's a different process and it's a different mindset when you're starting a business and you're not looking at 4 or 5 decades to be able to do it.
Right. Exactly.
So tell me about your business. What is it?
So Blind Ambitions is a custom window coverings business. As you mentioned, brand new. So we do all things windows. No drapery at this point, but blinds, shutters, shades, new products that are coming out, launching in April, Roman shades,
Roman shades.
So think the pleated, they kind of roll up.
Okay.
It's an older look, but it's really coming back. People are excited, and maybe it's never gone away completely, but the modern ones are a little sleeker. The new product that's coming out is a tighter fold. And so I like to say that it's marrying a shade and a Roman, and so it's not as bulky. And so it's kind of a little more refined look in a Roman shade, but I'm super excited about that. So
these are the types of things that would you consider them room accents? They're not designed to be the focal point.
It's like earrings on a window. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Why blinds? Why is this the business that you wanted to get into?
So I had a little push. My brother pushed me a little bit. He's got his own business, and he thought I would love it. I worked for a large corporate America. I'll just say that for 25 years.
I've been there.
Yeah. But I've worked remote since 2012, and I'm not really somebody who should be tucked in a 10 by 10 room 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Even my meetings were not necessarily all video. And so I needed something that would get me out of that and bring a little life back into me. And so it started out part-time. And then my 25-year career, I had a little push because they let me go due to my distance and being remote, which was ironic because they hired me remote, had nothing to do with COVID. And I had to go into a hub, which is Des Moines and 117 miles away one way. So I said, no, thank you. So here I am.
I've experienced something not exactly like that, but having decisions about my future and my worth being decided by somebody in a suit that's nowhere near
Yes.
where it is that I've never met before.
Yes.
So, yeah, I get it, and it's also why I do what I do, because I have no desire to leave my fate in the hands of someone else anymore. And this gives me that opportunity. And now you have that opportunity that, hey, if I want to make more money, well, okay, I have to hustle a little harder.
Yep.
I have to get out and talk to more people. I have to maybe think outside the box a little bit. And if you have those types of skills, and I'm talking to anybody listening, that's the type of thing that maybe you want to give that entrepreneurship a try.
Well, I will say this. Yes, there is hustle. There's a lot of networking. It's who you know, and being present, not just once, but showing up over and over. And people, you develop relationships, and people get to know you, and they're like, okay, she's sticking around. She's going to be here. So there is that work, but there's the flexibility is also fantastic, and I don't necessarily have some of the corporate perks like paid time off and things like that, but I haven't looked back. 25 years. In fact, I just did a 2-day training in Dallas. The company that the product that I sell, paid for me to come down and trained me very, very well on some new products coming in. And I left there sort of sad that I don't want to say wasted. We're never wasting time, right? We are who we are because of what we've done. But 25 years doing something that certainly didn't bring like a glow to my face. And I left there super excited. I can tell you, I was never excited about a mortgage product ever. Like that just was not a thing for me. But it fueled me. So it made me want to come back and meet more people, come into homes and really make a customer realize like, oh, take their vision and make it reality for them. So yeah, I'm excited.
I think it was Jim Carrey who said it, and he was given a talk, and it was about his dad. If I'm wrong about this, I apologize. But what he said was, you can fail at something you hate, so you might as well go after doing something you love.
Yeah, that's great.
And that spoke to me when I heard that.
Yeah.
That there's no guarantees about any of this. I mean,
Right.
You had something for 25 years. Once upon a time, longevity was celebrated in
Loyalty.
corporate America, and loyalty. No,
Not
so much anymore.
No.
So getting out there and putting your knowledge and using all of those lessons that you've learned. And I'm guessing that there's probably some things that you learned in those 25 years that you're using now, just in
Absolutely.
a completely different way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So listening is a big thing, right? I mean, I have some favorite products, but not every customer is going to like those, and they might not be right for everyone's home. So really listening to their needs, what they're looking for in terms of privacy. Some people, lifestyle is an issue, because you might have a third shift worker and you need complete darkness. And so just making sure that you're paying attention to what their needs are. And, you do that in any job, really, if you do it well, right? So, and then, just maybe taking a step back and listening, after you've listened, like let that all sink in and then, come back. Some situations, they look tough. Like I just had a project here in town where older home and 2 windows were butted up really close in a corner, and we made that tight space look pretty darn good, and I was pretty happy with it. I was even happier when the product was installed. I was a little nervous, but it turned out great. So customers super happy, and yeah.
These are the kind of things that as you do this longer and longer, and you start to have those experiences and those true testimonials that you can talk about, then you start to feel a little more comfortable. Not just because of something specific, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
there's always a solution.
There's always a solution.
Yeah, always a solution.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing you talk about is something that I've talked about a lot on either one of my shows about what it's like to do business in a small town and how it behaves just a little bit differently than if you were going over into, let's say you're over in the Regency area in Omaha versus Forest Glen in Council Bluffs.
Yeah.
People are different, and they're
People are
going
definitely
to
different.
respond differently to how it is that you present things.
So, just an interesting little tidbit. My husband has always said to me that I could speak to a garbage collector and I can speak to a CEO. And I don't want to compare people in those two, areas like that, but it's true. Everyone has a need for window coverings, whether they think they do or not. They do. I mean,
Right.
it really transforms your house, and if you can get better sleep because of it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. But I grew up in a dot on the map, so I am definitely a small town girl. And that speaks to me when I'm a Midwest girl, right? We want to have conversations with people. We like to talk to people, right? So, which is part of the reason I got into this. But I also like that upscale, kind of big city look and feel. So I feel like I'm pretty versatile, and I'm flexible with my people, and there's all kinds of customers out there. Nobody fits in a box. So yeah.
Where's the dot on the map?
So the town that I actually grew up in is called Doherty, Iowa. But I will tell you, my family is now in Clear Lake, Iowa, north central, right up off of 35 North, and about
Go to Mason City and hang a right.
yes. So, well, if you're on 35, you're just getting right off the exit.
Yeah,
that's Clear Lake. But great community, 7,000-ish people. The town I grew up in was about 100, 125.
Mine too.
Tiny.
Yep.
Most people don't know where it's at. On occasion, we've been on vacation, and I've mentioned, I'm in this small town. From this small town, no one would know. And we actually ran into a World War II vet in Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. And I said that, and he was from an even tinier town, 12 miles away-ish, and he knew exactly where it was at. So, I think, the things you learn when you just talk to people.
I've had that exact same experience that I was 18 and I was at a friend's house in Georgia, and I met his sister for the first time, who was just recently out of college. And I told, we were talking to them from Iowa, and she said, "Oh, you're from Iowa. I bet you know my college roommate."
It's little, but it's not that little.
and I said, well, I was a big state.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, where was she from? You ever heard of the town Pocahontas?" And then I went, "That was 13 miles from where I grew up."
She just proved you wrong.
And
see?
then here's the scary part. She said, and I'll give the name. She said, "All right, my roommate, she was my freshman year. Her name was Kathy." And I said, "Gonerman?" And her face dropped. That's who it was.
She knew.
I
That's
had
funny.
dog sit for this lady
Yeah.
when I was a kid. It was frightening that something like that happened. I was 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And
It's
running
awesome,
into
though. I
some,
love
but
it.
yeah, that's what can happen around small town Iowa.
Yeah,
How
I
about
agree.
that? And you and I both know that the climate up north of Highway 18 or
Not the
around
best.
that area
Yeah.
is not the same as it is here.
No, it's definitely not.
No.
In fact, I always joke when I go home, I leave great weather here and go up there and it's horrible. And then, I come back and it's not as nice as when I left. I'm like, really, I always miss out on that. But no, it's, in fact, my mom has had so much snow this year, and, we've had hardly any. She got hit pretty good, and the interstate was closed from Clear Lake to Ames, and I guess it was from here to Des Moines too, but just a week or so ago.
A lot of closing along with that, but
they handle it better up there, though.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I was once in Minneapolis, and watching them clear snow, wow.
Yeah.
That was impressive. But I also think that tiny little town that you grew up in gives you an advantage when it comes to doing business in this area, and not just in Council Bluffs. Obviously, we have smaller communities around as well.
Yeah.
But said it many, many times. Council Bluffs is the biggest small town in Iowa.
Yeah.
Because people behave like they're in a small town. There's just a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't behave
Definitely.
like Cedar Rapids or
Absolutely not.
Ankeny or someplace like that. And, you could say, well, Ankeny's, just so close to Des Moines. We're right
by
across the river
Omaha.
from Omaha.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's different here.
It is definitely different.
Yeah.
And my husband and I talk all the time, like the Missouri River, people joke about, I'm not going to cross the Missouri, Omaha.
Mhm.
We'll joke, I'm not going to go over to Council, Kentucky or whatever. But you would think there was a 20-mile difference, not just stepping across 3 miles. You know?
I'd say there's that river can sometimes be a 50-foot wall.
Yeah.
But and what I say to people and that term still comes up sometimes.
I
when I'm
had
over
never
there.
heard it until I started dating Matt.
Yeah.
I had never heard it.
That I said, look, come on over.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a cup of coffee at one of our coffee shops, and we'll go on a tour. And I'll show you around, and I'll show you some of the different things, and we'll stop and we'll eat. And
Great history here.
We'll drive up Park Avenue, and I'll watch your jaw drop as you look at some of the homes that are there. And when you drive around some of these older neighborhoods that are in the hills and in the bluffs, and then you go out to some of the newer areas that have been built, and it's not what you think.
Right.
And hasn't been
and
for
Omaha's flat.
decades. Right. So I am I know that confusion is still there, but I don't think it's at the level that it used to be. I think it used to be a lot more.
Yeah.
As Council Bluffs has grown and as we've seen developments going in, because there's some areas of town. You go down to River's Edge.
Yeah.
Go have some Thai food down there, which is a great restaurant. And I would, if you could just pick that place up and drop it into any metropolitan community in the country, it would fit. Same with if you go to Pace or any of the other places that are around. We are doing things right here, and I would encourage you to come over. Please come on over.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The road goes both ways.
It does. It does. And I like that saying.
So how are you growing your business? What are you doing to say, all right, Blind Ambitions is going to be, we're not going to be that dot on the map. We're going to be a growing company. What are you doing to make that happen?
So I've done a ton of networking, and I've had some really, really good people here in Council Bluffs who have helped me so much. Local business owners who have said, hey, I think you should contact this person. It's really how I met you and Kyle.
Yeah.
I came to your ribbon cutting. I had seen Kyle a few times, but came to your ribbon cutting and another Waldstein. I'll call him out.
Travis?
Travis. Yeah. He said, I think you need to go talk to Todd and Kyle. And so, then I came in and that appointment, by the way, was one of the most fun that I've had. You guys were great when we were going through fabric samples and stuff. It's not very often that I get some excitement from guys, but that was fun. And so a lot of networking. I'm old enough to know you can't do it on your own. You just can't. It's the whole story of it's who you know that definitely plays a part. I also just went to Dallas, like I said, for training, and so learning as much as I can about the product, learning as much as I can about the company. It's a phenomenal company. I feel so good about selling their product, and I think when you believe in a product, it's a lot easier to sell, and so that's really what I'm doing. Lots of networking though.
Yeah, for me, it's impossible to sell something I don't believe in.
Agree.
Because it feels like I'm lying to someone.
Yeah, I can't be fake like that. So I don't do that well.
Right.
My face tells the story. So
that's probably why people can just sniff it on me. Yeah. Said, no, you don't even believe that. So why am I going to believe what you have to say? What we're doing here now, yes, I do believe. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And also, at the same time, I understand that I have to meet people where they're at. And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes it's just not for now, which I get both of those answers.
Absolutely.
And either one is fine. For me, because I'm mostly business to business. You are both, right? Business to business and residential. When I'm talking to another business, I will never know their business as well as they do.
Right.
So if they are telling me that, no, this is not a fit for me, if I'm not listening to that, then it ceases to be about how can I be of service to them, and it's about how can they be of service to me. And that is not what I'm in the industry for.
And it will give you a bad reputation.
And
so
and it will do that too.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's your best. When somebody starts talking about your shows, and how much you truly care about really, the whole Southwest Iowa and locally here in Council Bluffs. I mean, you've just done a phenomenal job, and people talk about it, and your reach is showing it. So yeah.
Well,
I think
that's very kind.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at taking compliments. I usually try to deflect them, but
so do I.
I truly am grateful that people are seeing that.
Yeah.
And it's been a process. It didn't start
Nothing
out.
happens fast.
No, it doesn't happen fast, but it shouldn't. I don't think it should.
Yeah.
We got to weed out those
the right way.
that aren't committed.
I agree.
And as we've gotten past 600 shows now total, and those numbers are climbing even higher, I'm grateful.
Right here
Very
in Little Council Bluffs.
Yeah. Created something new, and people
story.
are loving it. And once Kyle came on, then we upped the game. And I was doing everything out of a home studio for a long time. All of my interviews, or nearly all of my interviews, were done online, which that works. And I still do them occasionally because somebody that's not really local, but it's so much nicer to
sit across the table.
Sit across the table and come in here and picked up this old antique table from the Restore. Thank you, David. And I get more comments about this thing. And it's, well, how old is it? I have no idea. Who made it? I have no idea. There's no markings on it anywhere. but
it's cool. And
plus, this is something that happened right here in Council Bluffs. So there's history. If anybody happens to know where this table came from, I'd love to hear about it.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that keeping it local and keeping here in this community. And
we need to do it more. And I think as a culture in general, people are trying to stay more local. It's kind of what I do stretch a ways away from Council Bluffs, but my main focus is Council Bluffs, Omaha, and surrounding areas. But I think that means something to people. There's, I have competitors that are nationwide.
Right.
And so, I do believe there are a lot of good people out there that want to support local.
Well, they know that should a problem arise, and they're going to, you can't be 100% perfect. They know you're local.
They're getting one person that they're going to call. They're not going to get tossed around.
Yeah, and it's not you're not going to a call center that is going to run down a itemized list of here's the correct response for this question, and let me read this back to you. No, it's sometimes you got to think outside the box.
It's me taking your calls or your emails. It's me coming and doing the measuring. It's me consulting on fabrics and product type, and then I don't necessarily do the installs. I have, but my preference is, I've got a guy, and so, but I'm still present for those. So I'm going out on the installs, so I know if there's anything that that's not going to quite work. So
that makes a lot of sense. Website up and running yet, or on the way?
Not completely.
Not yet. Okay.
So we just wrapped up a meeting, and we've got some more content. It is up. It's just not complete.
But not complete.
So if you get my card and you at least go to it, it's not a broken link. It was a broken link at first. So
So we all have to start where we're at and just let it grow.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time that when they're coming in to start a new podcast, I'm not talking about as a guest, but as they're going to be starting one of their own. They say, well, what do I need to know? And I said, first, be willing to suck for a while. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's really okay. You don't have to know everything from day one. You can learn as you go, or as they say, let's build the plane as we're flying it. And to me, that's where the excitement is.
Yeah. And it's always okay to say, I'm not really sure, but there's a way, I'm sure. So let's look into it and figure out if there's a solution.
If somebody tells me that, they've got me.
Yeah.
If they say that I'm not really sure about this, and they don't drop it there, they say, but I'm going to go find out for you. Somebody has the answer.
Right.
I'm going to make sure that I find it. Now, if you do that, you got me.
And I've got some pretty good professionals at my disposal, so that's nice.
Well.
The experts.
She is Jamie Larson Brinkman, and she owns Blind Ambitions, and website is active, but
not
quite complete.
We're still tweaking it.
But you can find your contact information
Absolutely.
there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you'd like to bring Jamie in to take a look at what you have for window treatments and blinds, she'd love to have that conversation. Thank you so much for.
Absolutely. This was great.
Was it
It was
too painful?
It was not painful. A little spur of the moment, but it's all good. This was not quite what I was expecting to end my. Well, actually, I'm not done. I have a 5 o'clock. So
Okay.
on a Friday. But
On a Friday.
On a Friday, but you do what works.
That's
you
true.
do what works for the customer.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Sounds good, Todd. Thank you.
Technology should be working for you, not against you. At ThinkSpace IT, they provide expert IT solutions to keep your business running smoothly and securely, from cybersecurity and cloud services to network management and tech support. They simplify IT so you can focus on what matters most. So stay protected, stay connected, stay ahead. Visit ThinkSpaceIT.com. And if you're looking for a laid-back spot with great food and even better company, the Mile Away on Old Lincoln Highway north of Council Bluffs. A reminder that this is Monday, and that means that's the day that they spend with their families. But they're going to be back tomorrow morning at 8. They bring in a great lunch crowd, great breakfast crowd, I should say, is at 8 in the morning. And then they take a short window, 2 to 4, where they're closed, and then back for evening. There are going to be daily specials out there every single day. So whether you're watching the game, you're there for Fiesta Wednesday, or whatever, maybe just unwinding after a long day, the Mile Away has you covered. Old Lincoln Highway, just north of Council Bluffs. That wraps up today's show. Thank you so much to Jamie Larson Brinkman for joining us today. Glad to have you part of the business community. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of the success that I'm sure is coming your way. My name's Todd Studer. I hope your week has launched well, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.